Well, hello again. Welcome back to each and every one of you who've listened to others of these Dhamma talks. Welcome to any new listeners. I'm deeply grateful to all of you who are taking time to listen to Dhamma because of your sincerity in walking the path. Today we're on page 55. We just concluded talking about the Eightfold Noble Path. The path, by definition, apparently leads somewhere. It goes somewhere, it starts somewhere, and it ends somewhere. That's my understanding of a path. And the goal, in this case, is liberation from ignorance and suffering. We suffer because we're ignorant. And I just want to stress, we're not suffering because suffering, ignorance is something. It's not something, it's the absence of wisdom. Just as darkness is not something, it's the absence of light. So we're not really trying to get rid of the bad stuff that seems to be real. We're just trying to wake up to the good stuff, and the bad stuff falls away automatically. So there are 4 stages or levels of this idea of liberation. And the first one is Satipana or Satipani Sotaban. I think the Thais pronounce it Sotaban. In any case, it is translated as stream winner. So let's imagine that someone has entered a stream. And we could say geographically anywhere on the planet, a stream will empty into a river. This is a kind of stream anyway that enters into a river, or we could say someone who enters the river, and all rivers lead to the ocean. However distant they may be from the ocean, eventually they make their way to the ocean. So if we're a stream winner, we are on a path, we're on a vehicle that ultimately will end in the ocean. That's an ocean of loving kindness and goodwill, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So if we haven't entered the stream, regardless of how sincere we are in our practice, or regardless of how long we might have practiced, the various techniques we might have practiced, we are not in the river yet. Traditionally, the definition of the member of the Sangha is someone who has entered the stream, or one of the other 3 definitions of enlightenment. So stream winning is essential to guarantee that we are on the right path, and this path will lead us to full liberation. It says, a person who has sufficiently defeated the first 3 of the fetters, which are a self-identification, I, me, mine, doubt about the triple gem, the Buddha, his teachings, and those who have mastered the teachings to some degree, and grasping at precepts and practices, that also means rites and rituals, to begin to advance to level 2 Sakadagami. It's important to realize there's no perfection about anything on Dhamma practice that characterizes the stream winner. The stream winner has just successfully reached a place of of security and skill and wisdom, that he or she is not going to fall back down into old habit patterns that were keeping him from being a stream winner. I've mentioned before, people of all faiths go to some religious service that their tradition recommends, and they are inspired often by what they hear in these religious services, including going to meditation retreats, etc. And they come out of the building or away from the retreat and often just slip back into old mental and emotional and behavioral and speech habit patterns, shockingly quickly. Sometimes by the time they've reached the car in the parking lot or on their way home, or certainly within a few days. And no matter how excited or enthusiastic they were, it fades away. And in this way, we know they haven't entered the stream, or that teaching hasn't taken root in them in the way that begins to transform their life. This is not the case with becoming a stream winner. It changes our life. It changes our attitude. It changes our speech, our behavior, the way we think, and begins to transform us into being the being that we've always been, this Buddha nature. So it begins to defeat. I had the misunderstanding that when someone was a stream winner, they were more or less fully enlightened, or so enlightened that they never said a bad word, or they never did something unkind, or so on. And it's simply not true. The stream winner will abstain from certain gross behaviors, but still has a long way to that place which we call the purified mind. So the stream winner, it says next, has also weakened stinginess. In other words, they've become more generous. They're not as jealous. They are not comparing themselves to other people on the path or other people in their religious circle, and they're not envious of other people's success at work, etc. Their conceit is just another word for ego. It's weakened. They still have ego. They're still selfish. They're still deluded, but much less so than someone who is not a stream winner, much less so than when they were not a stream winner. They're less contemptuous. That means of fault finding and critical. They're less pretentious, etc. Prejudice, anger, and lust. It doesn't say there is no anger. It doesn't say there is no lust. It just says they're not as powerful as they once were. They become quite pure in the practice of the 5 precepts. The practice of the 5 precepts, don't kill, don't steal, etc., are the foundation stone of our practice. And we simply must purify our practice of the 5 precepts. And the more devoted we are to those virtues, the better able we are to concentrate in our samadhi and the more awake we become in our daily life through mindfulness. There are 3 levels of stream winner. The first one is reborn one more time before full liberation. So that's the sort of highest level of being a stream winner. You may only need one more birth before you become arhat, or you may need, number 2, 2 or 3 more times of birth, rebirth. It doesn't describe what kind of birth that is, but in the case of the stream winner, it's usually assumed to be a human birth. And the third kind is reborn up to 7 more times, and in each case, born no lower than the human realm. In the case of anagami, as we're going to see, they're born in a heavenly realm to finish their work. So the 6 blessings of stream winner is they're firm, there's much less doubt in the triple gem and the practice of the Dhamma. We can even say they become devout. They just have a confidence that this is the path and that they're on the path. They are unable to fall back to behaviors and views which cause rebirth in the lower realms. So I mentioned this falling back into old habits before we were stream winners. I can just tell so many stories of people who came away from meditation retreats and who fell back into unwholesome, unenlightened behaviors in a very short time. This falling back means you can't do something so egregious that you would be born less than a human. Number 3, they set a limit to suffering the number of rebirths, meaning no more than 7. And it doesn't mean you have to live 80 or 100 years 7 times. It's conceivable you might have a rebirth of just a few years or a very short life, but in any case, the maximum would be 7, and possibly only 1 more. And I need to say, if you're a stream winner, there's no reason you can't progress all the way to Arhan in the same lifetime. It's not that you have to die and be reborn before you could be Sekadagami or Anagami. Some people progress from stream winner to Arhan in a matter of seconds or minutes or weeks or months or years, not over a period of many lifetimes. And number 4, they are endowed with the beginning of uncommon wisdom. So the stream winner usually is blessed with insights into life. These insights are applicable to other beings. Human beings have many things in common. So when we have insight into the way what we call our mind works, by definition, we have insight into the way other people's minds work. The more insightful we are to our hidden motives, our hidden darknesses, our subconscious influences, the more awake we are to seeing them in others. Some people who experience stream entry gain some supernormal power, maybe some kind of mind reading or some other ability that they didn't have before and which is rare in the world. Number 5, they understand causes. That's the law of nature, that all things have a cause. Cause and conditions create the present moment. A stream winner truly respects and understands that life cannot be different than it is in the present moment for each and every one of us, and whatever that may mean, if we're living in a country where there's a war or there's a great poverty or extreme corruption, etc., that is a karmic law, and it can't be different than it is in the present moment. The next moment might be different, but the present moment is nothing we have any control over because it's already here. We can change the next moment if we change our mind. People who understand karma do not see events in the world as tragic or unfair or unreasonable. They don't say that should never have happened, or that person is innocent, they should never have had that experience. They know the laws of karma are at work, and however tragic the event might be, it can't be otherwise. So getting emotionally upset or attached to the belief that it shouldn't be that way, this all falls away for the stream winner. Number 6, they understand the phenomena arises by causes. That's another way of talking about karma. Nothing can happen without there being a cause. And science is devoted to trying to understand the cause of everything. They want to know what caused the universe to come into being, what will cause it to go out of being. Social scientists, therapists, etc., want to know the cause of people's suffering and how it's related to their mother or father or some other social factors, etc. So we, as stream winners, we don't get upset because it can't be different than it is. And that's why the practice of the Dhamma is so essential, because getting upset and being convinced that there's some great injustice in the world that has to be rectified is a cause of suffering. It says here, if he wishes, he could by himself declare of himself, I am a stream winner, with enlightenment as my destination. And this is a quote from Lord Buddha. Now, in the monk tradition of the forest monks, they are not allowed to tell lay people what level they may have achieved, but within the community of monks they live with, they can claim to be a stream winner or more, but they can't, quote, sort of brag about it to the general public. Now, the issue here is that in most cases, lay people, especially lay people who claim to be stream winners, are self-deluded. In fact, I heard one monk claim there's a 99.9% chance that they are not. So there are fully enlightened teachers. There are some in Thailand that I've been fortunate enough to meet, and along with being fully enlightened, they can understand or see or read the mind of the student who may be talking with them, and some of them know at which level the student may have reached. Then those monks can tell others this individual has reached this level or has not reached this level, and if they tell the student, or if the student hears that the teacher has told others about their accomplishments, that is not self-proclaiming. That is, the teacher said such and such, and not the student saying, I claim to be. As I've said a little bit earlier, the stream winner still has an ego. He's not freed from a sense of self. He's not, therefore, he's not freed from imaginations about himself, etc. And it's most common that the the stream winner still talks like someone with an ego because they have one. They think like a person with an ego. They're still deluded. They are not fully liberated. They may make what other people call mistakes. They may say things unintentionally. They're not trying to lie or deceive, but they may make a mistake about something they say about Dhamma or about history, etc. They're nowhere near perfect. One of the masters in this tradition in the last century said, stream winners are about 25% liberated. Sekadagamis are about halfway. Anagamis are about 3/4 of the way, and Arhat has reached. So then this teacher said, so they have 75% ego, 50% ego, 25% ego, but there's always a sense of self in the first 3 levels of or stages of liberation. So that means they are subject to delusion. Here are 4 factors of stream entry. Associating with superior people. So people committed to the values of the secular world no longer are attractive to a stream winner. They just don't have enough in common. They don't share common values, etc. They don't hate them, or they don't despise them or demean them. They just not interested. So they are interested in being in groups of Dhamma people, Dhamma-oriented people, of having a teacher, of being committed to the practice. Then number 2, hearing the teachings from superior people. So if these are factors of stream entry, these are things that have to happen for us to enter the stream. We have to have an interest in listening to these Dhamma talks or finding good teachers. Ideally, a teacher that you can know personally, that you can go and talk to, or you can telephone or send a text message or join a group chat of some kind, and not the idea that you believe the teachings of someone who is deceased, and even the Buddha, but rather that you know someone and they know you. I originally was interested in Hinduism, and I considered my teacher Ramakrishna and Yogananda. They were both deceased. All I knew about them was from a book, and of course I never went to India to live in one of the ashrams run by them, but it turns out I didn't. At any rate, that is not the teacher that we most need. If we possibly can, we need to find a teacher we can talk to. Proper reflection. This is the use of the practice of mindfulness. and we investigate, we analyze, we dissect, we attempt to illuminate the dark areas of the mind by constantly thinking about the Dhamma and a comprehensive spiritual practice. So the minimum is that we practice meditation and mindfulness, and to the degree that we can listen to Dhamma talks, we can go on retreats, we can enhance our practice by possibly changing our profession or our living situation. Perhaps our roommates are not supportive of our practice, and perhaps we could find a better roommate or a better job, a better environment generally. We make a comprehensive review of our daily life to see ways we can bring it more into harmony with the practice of the Dhamma. Well, that concludes this page 55. And once again, congratulations to each of you who've listened patiently to this talk. I'm just ad-libbing. I don't have any notes. I'm not reading from something. Nothing is prepared. It's all spontaneous, so I know I say more than I wished I did. I'm sorry for that. It's not as enjoyable to listen to. Anyway, thank you again for reaching the end of this Dhamma talk. May you be blessed. May it bear fruit. May you be fully liberated. Thank you.